Hey, my name is jmartin. Thanks for watching. This is a 1v1 game, and I thought this was a pretty good game that we played. Um, I'm the Prussian player here, and my opponent playing as GB is Hunter Yoda. And Hunter Yoda, I think, is a really fine player. The maybe two noticeable differences in our build is he has 4 light infantry, I have 5, and I only have 4 cav, he has 5 cav. And he's got the dragoons, and he's put chevrons on him, and he's going to get a lot of pretty good value out of his cav in this game, which you wouldn't really expect from a GB player. But I thought he did pretty well. And I think holistically in this game, I think that he actually plays a bit better than I do. And I think he makes 2 decisions in this game that cause him some problems. One big one. But I think holistically he played a better game than me. And this game is kind of interesting because there's a few things happen that are kind of standard fare that happen in a lot of games that I want to show. Maybe for newer players, kind of get the pattern. You notice this, you see the same things over and over. What happens is he's sort of shifted his arm to the left. I've had to chase him. And trying to get my lights in position, you see I do get the first shot, but he has a better position. 3 of his lights were able to shoot against only 2 of mine, and he gets some pretty good shots there. I mean, he comes away with an advantage. I think he deals about 30 casualties, and I only deal about 20 or so. Is what happens. And when he kind of moves, like pulls back, and so I start to wrap around him a little bit. I should have had these 2 line units moving as well. I should have completely changed the orientation of my line. I don't do that. And coming up here, this battle's kind of long, so I'm gonna play most of it in the fast forward setting. What I don't really like, well, I'll talk about it later. I'll got something on my mind, but talk about it later. So we're still light skirmishing, and what's about to happen if I can ever get there? Oh, note to everybody, I think my line units are probably a little too close by my lights. I'm taking a couple casualties there. That was bad. I should have moved my line back a little bit. This will become relevant in a minute. And I think on this side, what he does is he pulls back, and he forms that hinge that I talk about a lot. And this is not a good idea. I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. But I had a problem in that I didn't really take advantage of it. I should have been way more aggressive. Oh, you see, I finally moved my line back. And I do have a small advantage here. I have 3 lights, or excuse me, 4 lights shooting at 3. Now here is the interesting part. See this cav charge? Pretty typical. In order to, because I have a light advantage, he feels the need to get a cav unit in there. And this is the right thing to do. So I'm a little late in reacting. I move my lights back, and this cav unit winds up charging straight into my line. I'm not really sure if this is a good idea because I get 2 kind of really good volleys, and I think we're going to break this dragoon unit. Yeah, I don't think they maybe get 10 or 20 casualties on one of my light infantry, so I'm not really sure that worked out well. What he does, 2 things happen, so I want to pause right here. So what he does is he runs his lights up. So he has created an advantage because he's disrupted my light infantry, and he takes the moment to run his lights up. There's an opening here that I missed that I should have taken. I should have cav charged right into these guys because he's moving his lineup, but they're a little too far separated, and there was a window there where I should have been able to charge cav in. But I don't. I think at the time I was trying to control this over here, this side, and we're kind of cat and mousing each other. He takes the opportunity to kind of change the axis, which does leave my units kind of out in the middle of nowhere. That might have been a good move for him because it encouraged me to get a lot of my army in essentially a useless area, which worked out. He is being pretty aggressive, moving infantry up, and I cav charge him. It's essentially the same thing in reverse. And my lancers don't do a whole ton of, like, they don't create a whole lot of casualties, but they do, again, disrupt him and get his guys to pull back and give me a short-term advantage against this foot guard. putting guard units on your flank like this is really the way to go, because these, if I think that if that was a regular line unit, I might have had much more success. Again, another cav charge that I just don't react to, and he gets my Fusilier, and I react really poorly to this. He has a huge opportunity there to do some serious damage, and I think I come out of this sort of okay. Yeah, I charge my own cav back through, try to get into his foot guard. He gets into square that I didn't realize. That could have been way more productive for me. Maybe I try to get into this light infantry unit. But when the dust settles over here, he's done a pretty good job of hurting me on this flank. And I think I need to, what I do is pull this unit back over to help out on my right side. And he's just unrelenting with the cav. I mean, more cav are coming through. I think I am too depleted to form square is what happens there, if I remember correctly. Over on this side, wasn't paying attention. He gets a great capture. Yeah, just straight up routes me. He wasn't paying attention, so I didn't get into square. And he has an advantage. This is what I'm talking about. I'm able to take advantage of this hinge right here. I get good fire on the flank of that unit, and I stay out of range of his line. So I just want these guys to be able to shoot at the lights there, and this guy to be able to shoot here. So this is kind of a bright spot early in the game for me, and you can see he figures that out and retreats. And again, I'm able to get both units shooting in his lights. Now he responds by moving up. This Lancer winds up just being a meat shield. It takes volleys from both of these line and just dies. Probably not the best use of that unit. It didn't wind up giving me a huge advantage. Arguably sort of a waste. Over on the right side, he's finally killed my 2 units here, so he's able to move up. I kind of have a problem here, frankly. I have to redeploy, and this probably wasn't the best movement. I'm not worried about cav right now. I leave my lights unprotected, probably a bad move. I really should have had this line unit doing something productive, and he gets a great cav charge into my light infantry that I left unprotected, so I have to waste another Lancer just countercharging. Really not terribly good play for me right there. I think this Lancer charge is pretty successful. Well, gets in square again. I mean, this guy's pretty good. I mean, his micros is pretty on point. Pretty on point. And so those lights route because of that cav charge. And I had broken a Lancer through, and I get the Lancer in his rear, almost get his general. I feel like maybe that would have kind of been cheating or a little too easy. I don't wind up getting it, but I think I deplete his cav, pretty well. I have another Lancer running away, and I want to pause the game right here because it looks to me like this guy's kicking my ass. On the right side, he is 2 line against my line and my light, and my units are both pretty healthy. Yeah, I think that's kind of a fair fight. And then on this side, he's got 5 units in position against my 3. So I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 infantry against my 5, and he has cav. And then for some reason, and I think this is what winds up costing the game. Oops. He starts pulling back. Now, I do have these 2 units coming back from routing, and I have another unit back here that's coming back from routing. But it's going to take a while for those units to get involved. I think that if he had pressed his advantage really hard, really fast right here, I think he would have taken this. But instead what happens is he pulls back. Now there might be an issue where his units are, I guess, more depleted than mine. Yeah, that's true. If you think about it like that. But so he does this big retreat, and while he does that retreat, I get a couple free volleys. And in a close game, I think that could be the difference. And then he randomly charges, like, as a meat shield, this light foot unit. Maybe they're out of ammo, I'm not sure, but he kind of throws away a unit there and lets me get a couple free shots. And at this time, the game was dead even. And I think maybe he kind of gave it away right there. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? And as the dust settles, we're left in this situation. I have a small advantage. I have 2 light infantry with a better range than he does. I think he's going to take one of them out with a cav charge here. Again, I'm trying to, yeah, man, I got to get better at light protection. So I think he takes one of them out. Winds up essentially trading his cav. His cav isn't going to be terribly relevant after that. I think it could get it down to about 10 men left in the unit. And from here, all I really need to do... Oh, I have another Fusilier come back from routing. From here, all I really need to do is sort of reform my line in the best situation. So I pull back. He's moving again. And I think this cav unit comes back. I believe I get into yeah, I get into square there, and he does the right thing. I mean, he uses the disruption there to move up. He catches me a little off guard, and I'm having trouble getting my guys up into a relevant position. So, it's not necessarily how many units you have in the field, it's how many units you have in the field in a relevant position to affect the battle. And he's beating me on that end throughout this stage of the battle, but he doesn't really do it fast enough to sort of change the outcome. And from this point of the end game, yeah, I'm pretty confident I can take it. My general's still alive, so I won't really have a morale problem, and I have a light infantry advantage. And I have 5-lined his 6, I guess, and then the 2 lights. He has foot guards left. Do I have foot guards left? I think all my foot guards are dead. So he has elites. I mean, I think this game is arguably winnable for him at this stage, but he just kind of gives me a lot of free shots right here. This is a good move. It would have been a good move if he continued the charge. That's a horrible mistake. I get really lucky my general doesn't die there. My micro wasn't really on point in this game. There's some obvious mistakes that I'm making throughout the course of it. And I mean, maybe he felt that he has to... maybe this unit's out of ammo, but it's just a wasted... I feel like he just kind of gave me 2 or 3 units for free, and in a close game, that's the difference. I'm not really sure what was going on in his head, but that kind of is the difference. I think maybe I'm out of ammo myself here. I didn't time this well at all. Yeah, I don't know why everyone's charging. Here comes a foot guard. Maybe we're all out of ammo. I don't know. I get lucky they rout before they even get into contact, and yeah, I mean, still kind of close. His general comes in. Yeah, get into square. Did we get his general there? Still can't get his general. Oh, he brought a good general. Maybe that's why his units are sticking around. That's the 3-star, I think. 3-star, I think. It goes in for melee. Yeah. I don't know. The late game play is kind of weird. It'd be nice to get a couple players in to comment on how you want to do the late game. I guess it's maybe one of the parts of the game we under-theorize a bit. Finally get his general, and after I get his general, I should be able to put him down. Should be able to put him down. Sorry, my voice it's kind of cold right now, so I've got a little chill going on. So that's the end of the battle, but I thought it was a pretty good game from Hunter Yoda, and I really liked the early part of the game, the light-on-light skirmish, and how we both devoted Cav to try to disrupt the others. And I think he winds up being the winner on that end. Maybe if he had a different... Maybe if he wasn't GB and he had maybe a little better quality Cav, it might have turned out different. But great game to Hunter Yoda. I thought he played... I think arguably he played better than I did. And then just maybe wasn't aggressive enough. I don't know. I think that at that point in the battle where he retreated, if he'd just rushed up closer, I think maybe it would have been different because he had a local advantage, and I really needed to get my units back in the game and reform my line. But anyway, that is the battle against him, and I don't think this Highland Foot's going to take too much longer to break. But close games, close games. Every little bit matters. Every volley matters. It's sort of the deal. Anyway, great game to him, and thanks for watching. Please comment, subscribe, do all that. And you can check out more information at tdreplays.com.